The Buflum religion is ancient. It's older than time itself. Well, maybe not that old, but it's really old. Buflum is all about peace, love and wearing hats. Lots and lots of hats. You see, in Buflum, hats aren't just for covering your head. They represent your spiritual journey. The lowest level is the paper hat. Everyone starts there. As you become more enlightened, you graduate to cardboard, then felt, then the super-duper special tinfoil hat. Tinfoil hats are the biggest deal in Buflum. They're like the Jedi masters of hats. There can only be 3 tinfoil hats at any one time. Only 3 people in the whole wide world get to wear these shiny symbols of spiritual power. Before Scott's betrayal, the 3 tinfoil hats belonged to Connor the pigeon, Jaden the horse, and of course, Scott the caveman. Now, you might be thinking, a pigeon, a horse and a caveman? That's kind of random. And you'd be right. But Buflum is all about accepting everyone, no matter how strange or different they might seem. Besides, Connor, Jaden and Scott were considered the wisest, kindest and most spiritually advanced beings on the planet. At least they were until Scott went and ruined everything. The Buflum faith has this really important prophecy. It's about Bufus Christ, the son of the big Boof in the sky. The prophecy says that one day, Bufus Christ will return to Earth wearing a hat made of pure gold. He'll banish all evil, usher in an era of peace and harmony, and give everyone free pizza. It's going to be awesome. But there's a catch. The prophecy also says that a tinfoil hat will betray Bufus Christ, summon a terrible demon called a Frubazoid, and try to plunge the world into darkness. For years, everyone thought the prophecy was just a story. Nobody actually believed a tinfoil hat would ever do something so evil. Boy, were they wrong. Once a year, all the Buflum followers gather in Bufhala, their most sacred temple. It's a giant building shaped like a hat, of course. People travel from all corners of the globe to be there. They sing hymns, share stories, and drink lots of Bufade, a delicious beverage made with sparkling grape juice and gummy bears. This year's gathering was especially important. It was the 100th anniversary of the last time Bufus Christ visited Earth. Rumours were flying that he might return for a surprise visit. Excitement was in the air. Little did anyone know they were about to witness something truly shocking. Section 5. Scott's Betrayal. The ceremony in Bufhala was at its peak. Connor the pigeon was leading everyone in a rousing rendition of Buflum bells. Jaden the horse was gracefully prancing around a giant hat-shaped altar. And Scott the caveman, well, Scott was acting a little off. Instead of joining in the festivities, Scott was muttering to himself in a corner. His eyes glowed an eerie red. He began scratching strange symbols into the floor with his club. People shot each other nervous glances. What was Scott doing? Suddenly the air crackled with energy. The temperature plummeted. A giant swirling vortex opened up in the middle of Bufhala. Everyone gasped. From the depths of the vortex emerged a creature of pure nightmare, a Frubazoid. The Frubazoid was hideous. It had slimy green skin, glowing red eyes, and tentacles covered in razor-sharp spikes. Its breath smelled like rotten eggs and burnt toast. It let out an ear-splitting roar that shook the very foundations of Bufhala. Pandemonium erupted. People screamed and ran for their lives. Connor the pigeon flew in circles, flapping his wings frantically. Jaden the horse neighed in terror and reared up on his hind legs. In all the chaos, Scott just smiled, a cruel, twisted smile. The Buflum elders acted swiftly. They knew they had to stop Scott and the Frubazoid before it was too late. They stripped Scott of his tinfoil hat, demoting him all the way down to a lowly paper hat. But it was too late. Scott had tasted power, and he wasn't giving it up that easily. With a surge of dark energy, Scott transformed into a Frubazoid himself, joining forces with the creature he had summoned. The only hope now lay with the remaining tinfoil hats and the Buflum faithful. Among them was a young man named Tom Starky. Tom was a simple cardboard hat, but he had a good heart and an unwavering faith in Bufus Christ. As he watched in horror, a beam of light shot down from the heaven, striking his cardboard hat and transforming it into a shining tinfoil hat. Tom Starky was the new tinfoil hat, chosen by the Big Boof himself. Tom knew what he had to do. He rallied the Booflum faithful, leading them in a desperate fight against Scott and his Frubazoid minion. The battle raged for days, shaking the very fabric of reality. Connor and Jaden fought bravely alongside Tom, their tinfoil hats glowing with celestial power. The fate of the world hung in the balance. Could they defeat Scott and his Frubazoid buddy before they plunged the world into a third Boof war? Or would darkness prevail, crushing all hope of Boofus Christ's return and the promised era of free pizza? Tom Starky, despite being a newcomer, showed incredible courage and strength. He channeled the power of Boofus Christ, his tinfoil hat shining like a beacon of hope. With a final mighty blast of pure Booflum energy, he banished Scott and the other Frubazoid back to the abyss from whence they came. Victory was theirs. The Booflum faithful erupted in cheers, praising Tom Starky as their saviour. A grand feast was held in Boofhalla, with mountains of Boofade and enough pizza to satisfy even the hungriest Booflum follower. Tom, the newest tinfoil hat, was celebrated as a hero. The prophecy had been fulfilled, though not as anyone expected. Boofus Christ's return might still be a long way off, but thanks to Tom Starky, the world was safe for now.